Thanks again for joining. So this is our Getting Started webinar. It's really meant for those who have signed up for Houzz Pro just within the last few weeks or the last few months, so we can cover all the basics to get you set up for success. My name is Katie, and I'm on the product marketing team, and I work closely with our customers to get feedback on Houzz Pro and understand how you're using the platform. And then I also work closely with our product and engineering teams to make sure that we're building the right products for our customers. Sandro, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Sandro. I am a client onboarding specialist here at Houzz. I work with a lot of interior designers, general contractors, architects. So I'm going to be helping you train you on how to use the software, pointing out the key tools within the program. So we're going to be walking through on how to get set up and most importantly, look at some of the top features within the system. Ready to get started?
Yeah, the only other thing I would add here is that if you have any questions as we go through, feel free to add them into that tab on the right panel of your screen where it says Q&A, and we'll answer them as we go through. Okay, great. I think we're ready to start.
Perfect. Let's go. Let me share my screen. Okay. One of the first things we want to do is, as you guys are learning how to use the software, is a lot of questions about how do I get my team members on board so that they're incorporated into the system. So one of the things we look at is if you go into your company section, this is where you can add your team members. So what you want to do is send them an invite team member. In here, you're going to put their email address. I'm going to use mine as an example. And then you're going to want to define what is their role. So in other words, are they going to be an administrator? Are they part of your design team? Or are they handling your books, part of your finance team? So let's just say design. And right off the bat, as a design team member, it asks you, okay, do you want to give them access to all your project folders and all your lead folders? So generally, yes. And then here at the top in each section, it already shows, okay, look, we've got existing project folders. Do you want them to have access to that as well? Same with your lead folders. So if it all looks good and you want them to have access to everything, then you just go ahead and send the invite. So once that's been accepted, you're more than welcome to come back in here and edit. This is like where you can add their first name, your team member's first name, last name, and then you can kind of define what other permissions do you want them to have. So in other words, do you want them to have additional administrative permissions up here? Again, within your project folders, this gives them access to all the different tools within the projects, as well as access to individual folders within the project folders themselves. And same thing with leads. So leads are going to cover client communication, takeoffs, things like that. And then you can also define whether you want them to have access to existing lead folders within the system. And then you can also give them marketing permissions. Like, do you want them to have access to the website or the email marketing? All that's up to you. Once you've made your changes or your adjustments, then just save the changes. Right. And that's pretty much how you incorporate team members onto the system. Next thing you want to do is want to look at also activating the integrations. So things like QuickBooks. So if you're working with QuickBooks, you'll go to in the settings section on here, integration section, you're going to cover or go to QuickBooks. In here, it's going to follow these processes here. First part is just set up your tax agency. This is where the system talks to each other. So this is where you're going to add your QuickBooks username. It's going to ask you for a password. Once you sign in, the systems basically talk to each other. And once that is once they're connected and everything's been verified, then you want to go through the rest of these three sections to make sure that you've got the correct settings set on, right? After that, the other thing you also want to set up, which I encourage you to do, is your calendar section, your online payment section right up here. This is great. This is where you get to provide an option for your clients to be able to pay you on the system. They can either pay using a major credit card or electronic checks. There's a 1-minute video here that I do encourage you to watch. It's kind of a brief explanation of how this works and how everything is kind of set up. Basically, what you do is you come into this section, you click on Get Started. It sends you an email verification. Once you verify that you are the authorized user of that account, it's then going to ask you to enter in your company information. So once you finish entering your company information, and then it'll ask you for your banking information. So you'll need like your routing number, your account number, all that good information. Once that is set up, at the bottom of the banking information, you're going to see a disclosure. The disclosure is going to simply outline what the processing fees are for credit cards and what they're for electronic checks. If you don't want to absorb those fees, there's an open box that you want to check off and activate. Basically, that says is that your clients will pay for the costs of using any one of those types of payment forms. And then when the homeowner, just for your peace of mind, when the homeowner is sent a proposal or an invoice, when they see documentation and they go to select using one of those forms of payment, they'll be told there's a 3%, 3.6% processing fee for credit cards, or there's a 1% fee for electronic checks, and they'll be shown the amounts. So they'll know that. And you're going to find that a great majority of your clients are going to want to use those forms of payment, even if they have to pay the additional fees.
Just one thing I was going to add around online payments.
Yeah.
Sandra mentioned it, but we accept both ACH, which is bank transfer, or credit cards. And so ACH, actually, you can get your payments within 2 days now. We recently, sped up that process. So it's a really great way, instead of waiting for checks to clear or potentially having checks getting lost in the mail, to set up those ACH payments, especially because you can get paid a lot faster. And then we've also seen that a lot of homeowners prefer to pay with credit card, especially if they can get points or other benefits through their own credit cards. So again, like Sandra said, you can pass on the transaction fee to them, or you could also increase your markup. So then that fee will be absorbed within, and the client won't necessarily see that separate transaction.
Perfect. That's great. The other thing, while we're in the same section, I'm going to use this moment to kind of do the Clipper tool. We get a lot of requests regarding the Clipper tool. If you're not familiar with the Clipper tool, what it does is it allows you to go onto external websites and download information like products that you're using. Let's say you're getting ideas from a certain website retailer, and you want to download that information to create into a proposal. So this is a great feature. What you do, again, in the settings section, click on the Clipper tool. All you do is click on, again, a 1-minute video, or excuse me, a 4-minute video here that kind of explains how everything works. All you do is click on Get the Clipper.
Yeah, and the Clipper is one of the favorite tools that we always hear about from our designers. So it's a great thing, if you haven't already downloaded it, to just download it right now. So then it can really save you a lot of time when sourcing and selecting products for your clients.
Okay, so it's been installed. This is how you know it's already been installed. In the extensions, you want to make sure this is added in here, and you want to make sure that it's activated. There you go. So you also want to pin it. As I showed you there before, you want to make sure you click on this pin so that shows here, so that anytime you want to be able to activate it, you can turn it on. All right, let's go back into here. So that was the Clipper tool. Okay, so let's go into projects, creating a project. So in here, what we want to do is we want to create a project. We're going to simply put, let's say, sample. Actually, let's just put family room. There we go. Family room design. Here's where we can invite, so we can already determine if we want someone to be a project of or part of the team, part of the project. We can invite the team member here. If they're already on the list, you'll see their name here. In this case, we're sending out an email to the team member, inviting them. In creating the project, what we want to do is we want to be able to make sure that we've got all the right information for the client. So if you've got a client already set up in the system, you activate their account. If you don't, you want to add all their information up here. So we're going to say Tom and Susie Smith, and we'll put in their email. And I also want to put as much detail as I can regarding the client, because again, all this information is what they're going to see on a proposal. So I want to be sure that it looks as professional as possible. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So let's create a proposal in here. So within the client, we're going to go to proposal. There's a number of different ways to do that. you can create it through here, going in proposal. So you can build a proposal from scratch, which basically means you're going to add your own information, or you could maybe use it from a template you've already created for yourself about a typical work. So we're going to start like from scratch, and I'll basically show you what it is. So when you pull up the proposal, you're going to see your client's information here to the top right. Your company information will be up here. There's a couple of ways. First of all, what you want to do is figure out, do I want to create a proposal where it's basically a list of items, or do I want to create it by categories? So we're going to create, let's say, a list, and then you want to customize what information is going to be important to you as you're creating a proposal. So for example, like, yes, you want to activate the item description because you want to type in some notes about each section. You're going to want to also most likely add images because you want to show them what specific products you're proposing. And then auto numbers, I recommend. That's a reference here to the left hand side of a proposal, which we'll cover in just a second. And then I do recommend things like quantities, unit, cost, markup. And then you've got some additional options here regarding some of these other spaces that you can also activate, like what rooms they pertain to, or dimensions of materials, even shipping information as well, and any external links to a website you may want them, either you may want to have or you may want them to see. And also, if you're working with SKUs on products, if you want to include that, you can activate that as well. All of this is really up to you in terms of the information that you want to work with. Okay, again, a couple of different ways of putting these proposals together is, one is you can start to type in items here, or you can go, if you've got items in your library, you can go through the items that are in here already and add them from your product list. So let's go in here. For example, let's say we're adding a kitchen table. So then you can put quantities. You can put, what is it? Is that a piece measurement? Is that a piece, an hour, square feet? You're going to say a piece, and let's say that item is going to cost $2,500. So there's your cost for that specific item. We've also provided a markup column up here where you can indicate, for everything that I quote on the proposal, I want to include a 35% markup. Anywhere from 25 to 45% are kind of normal markup rates within your industry. So again, and the neat thing about it is you can create a general markup for everything, and then you can literally do a line item change where if you want to change that percentage amount, you can, or if you want to make it just a flat fee for certain markup for certain items, you can as well. So in the description, this is where you get to type out exactly all the description of the items. So for example, the table features the following, and you can use bullet points, numbered points, so you can create this list as you want. 6 chairs, 2 armrest chairs, et cetera, et cetera. So you can include all the details. And again, this is information that you can share with them. Here, you can also upload up to 5 different images for the different kinds of items that you're showing. So for example, like let's look in here and we'll look at one of these. Let's say we'll just grab this picture as an example. So again, you can piece together the information showing a picture of the item and so on. In here, in the same thing with the room, you can indicate what room that specific item corresponds to. Once you've added all of the details of all the different items that you intend to include, including, let's say, your designer fees. There it is. As you see, as you're adding some of this, a lot of it will be in a preloaded list. And so if you see your list, you can already add it here. So if you, let's say this takes you 8 hours to do at a rate of $3.50 an hour. Again, there you are. So you'll see your subtotal here, which is your material and labor costs, or your fee costs. Your markup is right here. If you're offering any kind of a discount, you can indicate it here. And also, if there's any taxes that apply, you can also activate your tax rate there, and it automatically shows here. Again, all of this information that you're creating is for your eyes only. So we're getting ready to send this to the client. So we've now prepared a proposal. Here we want to request a deposit. So you'll see a reference here to the total amount in the proposal. You can either request a deposit for a dollar term or a percent. So a lot of you guys will probably ask for a percent. If you type in, let's say the number 20%, it'll show you a reference here of what that number is. If you're like me and you want whole numbers, you can invert those numbers. So you switch to the dollar. And this allows you to either round up or round down that number, making it easy for the client. And then you'll have today's date. In payment terms, I would do for the initial deposit, I would change it from custom to due on receipt. So they know that then when this is being issued, if they accept the proposal, they're going to have to pay this up front. And then we've got a remaining balance here. So we're going to want to schedule out maybe one or two more payments. And in here, payment one, this is when we can say, like, instead of payment one, we can call it like order complete, whatever the phase is that you want to name it, and product is installed. So this way they know when all of these are due. Again, you can put dates on here. So let's say you're starting the project this week and you expected the items to be arriving next week. So this would be when it's due. And if you thought you're going to finish setting up by the 27th, there you've got these dates. And the great thing is that on these dates, invoices will be sent to the homeowner. And so, which makes it very convenient for you. Once we've got this proposal readied out, again, we want to include our terms and conditions. We want to make sure the signature is there. In the preview window, real quickly, in the settings, this is where you get to determine what information you want your clients to see. And I'm going to kind of turn all these on real quickly so you can kind of just see. So again, a lot of you are probably not going to want to show as much detail like this. So in here, you're going to turn off things like detailed pricing, right? The totals is really the reference to down here that you do want to share with them. And then things like in here, cost, markup, things like that, you probably don't want to share. Room, that's fine. And then that should be kind of about it. And then item details, we want images turned on, we want descriptions turned on, and then we also want electronic signature. If you're ever doing a proposal where you're suggesting multiple products, in other words, where the homeowner is thinking between, let's say, one item and between three different items, and they're not sure which one to pick, you've got this approve per line item option. Basically means a homeowner can go and say yes to this and no to that. So that's a great feature to have when you're doing like multiple products and you want them to select one or a few. Okay. And then after this, if here's your payment schedule, terms and conditions, and then here's your signature line. You just basically send that out to your client and you'll get a copy sent to you so that you'll see that it was sent out. And there you go. Document was sent out. Okay. So that's basically looking at a proposal. Now, let's say you sent it out. A few hours later, homeowner calls you and says, "Hey, we've accepted the proposal you sent. We're good to go." There's a couple of different things. So you can ask them to go ahead and approve that. If they say they're not able to because they're not in front of their computer or have the information in front of them, you can manually approve it here as well. So when you do that, then what you want to do is then create an invoice from this document, which means all you do is click on that create invoice. It converts everything here into an invoice, and then you're all set for that document. Again, this now you can send out because this becomes an invoice document. You resend it out back to the client. All right. Let's go in and let's look at mood boards. Yeah, I just wanted to double check. Just for the sake of time, I want to be able to kind of piece this together. Mood boards is basically adding in information that you're putting together for an idea, for a concept, right? So you can add everything from your library. In your library, if you would have added things from the Clipper tool into here, everything from colors to furniture to different, hardware pieces, whatever it is you're looking to add into a mood board, it's all right here that you can add into your board. So, for example, if we want to, add color palettes into here, so we can rearrange these so that they come in here. The great thing about these, whatever images we use, we can edit the images as well. So if we want to crop these pieces, we can. and we're basically piecing these items together. So let's crop this. There we go. So we've got kind of a semi-structured mood board in here. You can add as much detail. You can also write information on here. If you want to use any kind of a shape tool, we can do that as well. So you can add all that information into here. Um, this is great too because you can also add notes into here. From here, we can also go into our sources, which is in here. This is a catalog of all furniture pieces that are sold within our house marketplace. So if you ever want to go and take a look at what's available here, again, a lot of these items, when you pick on them, if it's something that you like, you can always look at the information regarding the retailer. So you'll be able to see like the dimensions and whatever they're charging. You can also do a quick view, which takes you to their page as well. So there's a number of different ways of kind of piecing these mood boards together.
And clipped products as well, right? You can access your library there with all your products.
Yeah, so in here, again, this is everything you've downloaded using the Clipper tool. So if there's something in here that you want to use and add to this, all you do is click on it, it adds it to it, and then you find, the placement for it. And again, what I love about this is you can readjust these images and place them wherever you want to place them to kind of showcase your ideas. You can also incorporate 3D floor plans into your mood boards, which is great. So I'm going to use this one as an example. So let's say if I wanted to add this as part of my presentation material to the mood board, I can also incorporate the floor plan here. The other thing we want to cover here is also the selection boards. So let's go back into the project folder real quick. Selection boards allows you to basically design a room. So for example, let's say if I was putting something together for a kitchen, I can incorporate everything from a mood board to product list to 3D floor plans, and then any kind of services or images that I want to include. So for example, again, let's go back to, let's say I use one of these. I'm going to use this one as an example. Actually, let's use that one as an example. Let's remove that one. Okay. So from here, if I also wanted to add from the library, if there's products in here that I want to include, so in here I can click on the items and they'll be attached to this. So again, if I'm creating a mood board that features these items, I can now start to put together my product list. So all of this I'm going to use and kind of convert into a proposal to the client. I can also add a 3D floor plan. And then once I've got all my items selected, um, I can also create a budget for whatever that project is. So let's say the homeowner has indicated that they want a budget of $50,000 for that specific room. So I can indicate whether that's a taxable item, include shipping costs, again, activate my tax rate. And then I've got it in here. Now, in each of the item, it asks me, do I want to include this as part of the budget? Yes, because I'm recommending these specific products. How does that relate to my overall budget for the room? So just by recommending these four products right now covers about 15,000 of my $50,000 budget. So once I've pieced this together and now I'm getting ready to send this, first of all, I can send this to the client before anything. I can send this to the client and it's like the same process before. Well, I'll go to preview and share. In here, I'm going to want to indicate what things I want them to see because I do want them to see the budget because I want them to see, how much of this corresponds to the budget. And then all of these details. You can show product links. That's completely up to you. At the top right of each picture where there is a link to the retailer will be a link. If you don't want to show that information, then just make sure it's turned off. I do recommend you obviously show the quantities and the descriptions and the colors, that information. And then as far as approvals go, you want to indicate all of these for all of those items that are covered within this room planner. So once you've got all that set, all you do at that point is then just set share. And again, you send a copy to them and off it goes. So when they get this, now they can review it and they'll be able to go through each piece and either decline or approve the item, as well as your idea of that space. They'll be able to approve it or decline it. So once we've got this, let's say the homeowner has approved all of this. Now we can convert this document. We want to convert that into either a proposal or an invoice. So if they've accepted the ideas, we want to obviously create a proposal for it because this is going to be a part of what they're going to be buying. So then it transfers all that information down into a proposal for them with all the details here, including the pictures and all the information here. If there's anything missing from here, you're going to want to add the information, including like, let's say your design services. If that's going to be a part of this as well, you'll include that in there. And then everything else should be activated. It's like going through the same process as we did before. We're asking a deposit and then we're sending it back again. We can preview here to make sure that they're going to see the right information. So far everything looks good. It's like we had set it up before, so it looks good. And then we send it again. If you have any questions about the settings of what information is, don't forget to go up here and deactivate something that you don't want them to see.
Yeah, and so if you do want to present different options to your client and work through them before getting to the proposal stage, that's where the selection board is really helpful. It can just help streamline that process. You can work through options, maybe present 2 or 3 different bed options or table options, get your client's feedback and buy-in and approval, and then convert it into a proposal. So it's all in one spot.
So down here, you can download it. It's automatically being downloaded as a PDF, whether it's in this format, like in where you're building it, or whether it's in your preview window. It's the same thing. You can download it through here as well. So multiple ways of being able to download that as a PDF. That was selection boards. Let's go to the 3D floor plans. Again, let's stay within this client. 3D floor plans are great. We have templates out for all the different kinds of like the most popular rooms. There's so many great ways of using these templates. So I'll show you kind of like an example. So you're going to see these are all the different templates. They're basically designed based on the layout of your client's kitchen, or maybe what what their intended remodeling kitchen wants them to look like. So and with any one of these, for example, there's a little glass here or a magnifying glass that you can see preview, if you will, the template. And that way you can see what it looks like in a 2D version as well as in a 3D version. So this is like if you're going to design a U-shaped kitchen with a center island for the client, and you're going to be doing all the not only the design but the piecing together the kitchen, then this is a good template to use as an example. One, you can use it as an example to show them of what that transformation might look like. In the 2D version here, you can literally click on any one item to change out whether it's flooring, for example, whether it's cabinets, countertops. So whenever you click on an item, it'll tell you what the item is. It'll tell you the dimensions. If there's additional options for sizes, you'll see a list of those sizes here. And then it'll also you can even calculate, okay, how high off of the floor is this going to be? You've got all kinds of different paneling styles, colors, hardware styles. So there's a lot of detail that goes into this. When you convert this into a 3D floor plan, you can see how that detail kind of translate into an image. And then we've got being in a virtual world inside the kitchen itself. These are great engagement tools when you're trying to get a sense of, does the homeowner like your idea? Do they like your concept? Because you can rotate these images to kind of show them the details of like, we could do some glass doors mixed in with some solid paneling kind of thing if you don't like the whole glass look. So there's all kinds of different things that you can do to get kind of their feedback on whether they like your style. In other words, whether you're headed in the right direction or not. Okay, so that's one way to use them. Another way is, let's say you want to create your own. So you can start from scratch. Here, we're going to just put in sample. Basically, it gives you a rectangle of walls. It'll tell you the distances, the outside distances of those walls. You can also indicate all wall dimensions, so you'll be able to see the inside dimensions as well. Again, you want to create these more for reference than anything else. And so, for example, let's say the room is a little bit wider and you want to make it a little bit longer. And then here, rather than have the room be a box like this, let's say you're going to remove this wall and we're going to simply extend this exterior wall here. And here we're going to reduce this space here, and then we're going to add some walls. So we're going to go to our pencil tool here and start to draw wherever we want those walls to go. And as you can see, it gives us red indication lines. That'll give us when it's parallel to an item. So easy for reference. Once we've got kind of our rooms, again, we've got all kinds of different things that we can do within the room. So we've got everything from structural items that we can add to generic products. We can go into our sources market, which is, again, all the products are available for sale in the house marketplace. And then you can even upload your own floor plan that we can sketch around. That we'll do that in a little bit. But let's say structures. So in here, you've got everything from doors, and these are just examples of different kinds of doors. So let's say we want to add a glass door, panel door here. All you do is move the item to wherever you want it to, and it automatically adjusts or attaches to that wall. In here, you can flip it so that it opens inside out, out to in. You can flip it so that it opens from left to right or right to left. If you want, you can add details to these doors. So again, let me go back to here. This is what the door looks like in that 3D mode. So we're going to add some style to this door. So like some finishes, we're going to paint this dark espresso. We're going to use a brushed metal on it. So when we go back to it, it now starts to take on kind of a little bit of life there. So it starts to stand out. Same thing, you'll be able to do that with some of these other structural items like windows, for example. Again, we can place them on here. A lot of these items, you can customize the width and height of them. Doors, windows, furniture, things like that. And again, let's say we're going to use the same kind of style. So rather than, I'm going to put a couple of these, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that because we already finished that out. Simply attach it. And again, let's go back to so now that's starting to kind of come together there. There we go. We've got our doors and our windows there. And inside the rooms, here's what it starts to look like, which is really nice. Okay, let's go back out to here. We also have, this is a new feature. We've got outdoor features. So if you take on that pencil and you draw out here, again, this is kind of for visual purposes. Sorry, I got this little message in here.
We recently did a deep dive webinar specifically on the 3D floor planner because there's obviously a lot to learn and do here. So we can also share that recording with you in the next week or so.
Yes. So again, we're just adding a little bit of style here to the floor plans. Again, you're able to add so much different types of partitions, staircases, things like that. In the generic products, here we can add furniture. So if we're looking specifically for, let's say, kitchen style or family room, we go to those sections. So in kitchens, we can add all kinds of things like appliances and furniture, pieces like that. All right. So this kind of gives you an idea how we can create these floor plans. And again, I recommend that as you're building these out, switch from modes. So you can kind of see how this is coming together. So you get a feel of like, are you going in the right direction with the planning and designing of these floor plans? And again, these are going to be used more as kind of that tool to engage with your potential client or your clients on style, on design styles and features and things like that. Okay. And then the other thing is that we wanted to talk to you about is the LiDAR technology that's used for the floor plans. We have a video here that we'd like to play for you. Let me switch my screen real quick.
But it's available for anyone who has the House Pro app. It's not an additional.
Experience the combined power of Apple's innovative Room Plan API and House Pro's immersive 3D floor planner. To get started, ensure the desired room is well lit. Then scan away at a steady pace, gently moving your iPad or iPhone Pro up and down to capture every angle. Watch while accurate lightning-fast floor plans realize before your eyes and tagged objects automatically convert into furniture pieces. House Pro's 3D Floor Planner harnesses the power of Apple's Room Plan API, enabling pros to hide and keep furniture they want in a digital room. From complete renovations to simply updating decor, pros have the option to start from a blank slate or keep critical furniture pieces. Plus, they can toggle between 2D and 3D with ease. Once the room scan is complete, pros can customize every desired detail on their computer. Homeowners and industry pros like interior designers, builders, and contractors know confidence is key when selling or improving a renovation or design project. And with the help of House Pro's 3D Floor Planner, leveled up with Apple's Room Plan API, professionals can seamlessly offer clients an outstanding visual of their future home. Homeowners know exactly what they're signing off on, and pros can confidently move forward with their big ideas. A win all around.
When you're using it, make sure that when you're walking around a room, do that. Walk around the room and pick up as much detail as you can. You're going to see white lines appear on your device, whether it's your phone or your tablet. And so you want to pick up as many details like flooring, walls, appliances, countertops, all that stuff. And that way it transfers all that information onto a 3D floor plan. Then you can make enhancements to and changes to using a laptop or desktop computer. So anything else come to mind, Katie, that about the LiDAR technology?
No, I think you covered it. We get a lot of great feedback on that. At the moment, it's only available for iPhones equipped with LiDAR, which I believe is the Pro models 13 and above. But if you have one of those, you should check it out. You can also scan rooms on the app if you don't have LiDAR enabled, but it just takes a little bit more time.
Okay. And then we also want to go into, and let's go back into the folder in here, is time and expenses, being able to track time and expenses. Let's say one of your team members is off and they're going to be working on some items for that client. So basically using their device, again, whether it's a mobile device, a tablet, a phone, even on a computer system, they can add in exactly kind of what it is they're doing. So for example, if they're doing, let's say, design services or travel services or shopping services, whatever you want to, define it up here, you can stipulate, what the hourly rate are. Is it taxable and billable? And then what date, and then however many hours it's going to be. So this is where you're able to track all that information in here, including writing a description of, how that worked. So now you're able to bill the client and show that, on their next invoice that's, exactly here it is. So import time entries. Okay. So like we can either create an invoice for that through here or add it to an existing invoice. So we add this specific like time and expense to an existing invoice that's already there. So again, there's our design services here that was added. So in addition, that's for today. That's what we did. So it's already added to this bill. And then we also want to, let's take a quick look at the scheduler. This is a big, big item for a lot of our contractors, a lot of our interior designers, is they want to be able to piece together a timetable of their project. So when it comes to interior design, we've got a couple templates set up here. So in other words, here's an interior design template that includes construction parts. So you're going to be an integral part of the construction aspect of the either the build or the remodel. And this is one where it's strictly design only. So here, let's say we pick that one. We can see, first of all, what categories are shown, and then we can also see if there are any specific items within those categories. So if we look at this and go, yeah, we want to use this because this is kind of the kind of work we're going to do, then we can apply this template and use it for this client. Or we can take a look at the construction part to get a better feel of like, okay, here's some more in-depth details about the construction part, as well as the design aspects, like what am I going to be involved in. So depending on the project and your involvement within the project, you'll want to look at both these to see which is a better fit for you. Let's say this one is, then all you do again is you apply the template and it automatically loads onto the client's folder. So in here, now you can come in here and customize all the information. So for example, like you can define here to the right, all if you do is you click on the name, you can define, okay, when does this project start? How long does it go? So in other words, you can say like the kickoff meeting, let's say it lasts 2 days. So we're going to be talking to them over the course of 2 days. You can add team members as well as subcontractors or even the client if you want them included in this leg of the design portion. You can include them as well. You can also create dependencies. In other words, does this have to happen? Does something have to happen before this can happen? Or is there something that happens afterwards? Right. So for example, like once this is done, then it's the next item, which will be develop design concepts. So that creates a dependency. In other words, this part can't start, or excuse me, this part can't start until this part is complete. You can put in descriptions or notes. You can even add tasks. So tasks are like to-do lists. So don't forget to select colors, patterns, etc. So you can put whatever it is you want them, whatever the task is. And you can assign it to whoever, if that's for, again, if that's for a team member, or you can indicate that's for the client. So you can indicate on there who that task belongs to. And you can even put a due date until when do they have to be able to decide all that information. Again, this is great because it keeps everyone kind of on track in terms of your project management. You can also color code all of these sections. As you saw when we uploaded this template, it already had preloaded colors. Feel free to make those changes at any point if you want to. So if there's a kind of a color code that you want to follow. So anything that's, for example, like develop designs kind of idea is all in this kind of blue tone. Same thing like revisions will be shown in kind of these green tones and so forth. So they're all kind of separated that way according to phases, but you can also customize all that. One other thing too is that once this is sent out, so in other words, if you've got whether it's team members, the clients, or subs involved in any one of these legs, they can mark off when that part has been complete, which is great. So this lets everyone know that part's already been completed. Right. And then we also want to talk about downloading the House Pro app. We've got 2 different apps. One is called the House Pro. This one is with the black background and the greenhouse. This particular app gives you access to all your CRM, your project folders, your lead folders, all the design tools in here. It's your project management tools are all in here, including the LiDAR technologies in here, the 3D room scans in here. So the other one is the white background with the greenhouse. This app gives you access to our website, including your house profile. And those are basically the apps. Also, what I want to touch on real quickly, there is a new feature. If you've downloaded the app, the House Pro app onto your phone or tablet, you're going to see at the bottom, it's going to say Automate AI. If you click on that, I wish I could connect my phone, but if you click on that, what it does is it activates voice recognition. So in other words, when you're on the app and you tell the app, prepare a proposal, it's going to show you all the different sections of your project folders, your lead folders, and then if there's something in there that you want to work on, you can. Otherwise, you can add a new project or create a new proposal. And so it gives you access to all that information. It really is extremely helpful on being able to do work and be more efficient and finding the information on your app. Anything else come to mind, Katie?
No, I think that's it. I know we're exactly at the hour. We also have a chat support function. So in that bottom right-hand corner, when you're in House Pro, you'll see a little messaging icon. You can click on there. If you're ever in House Pro working, not sure what to do, run into questions, feel free, open that up, type in a question, and someone on our team will get back to you within just a few minutes. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining. We will be sending out this recording. If any other questions come up as you're learning the product and exploring, please reach out. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie.